Hello and welcome along to the start of a big season in this FM20 Dorking Wanderers story with me, Daniel. It's season 10, episode 1, and today we go through our summer transfer special as we look ahead to our first season in the second tier of English football. We're up to the Championship, we've had our fixtures delayed, we're still ground sharing with Crawley, and we're going to be playing a lot of Sunday fixtures, not for TV reasons unfortunately. And we've got Alan Tordoff joining the club, but injured and missing out on the first day, and he's one of many summer transfers we'll be looking at as we prepare ourselves for life in the Championship. It's the toughest league in the world. Will we compete? Probably not's the initial answer, but we'll go and look at the players, see if you disagree. Hopefully you will. You'll give me some hope and optimism. But for me, it's been a very, very frustrating summer. We've still got lots of transfer budget, still got lots of wage budget, still losing money despite not spending it. So it's going to be a challenging season. We've still got the little poxy 5,000 ground that we're sharing with Crawley. We've still not had the completed upgrades for the facilities. I mean, there's just not much going positively at the moment. But either way, it's been a big summer. We'll talk through all the transfers. We'll prepare for the season, and then next time round we will have that first game against Fulham. But before we go and look at all the summer business both in and out of the club and what we've prepared for this season with Dorking, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series. I really do appreciate your support. I can't thank you enough for it. And obviously this is a massive weekend on the channel, something that I haven't really done before. So tomorrow at lunchtime, midday will be the start point. We will have our first ever live stream on the channel, and it will be the summer transfer window from the other series. That's the head coach with Salford, where we've also been promoted to the Championship, but we're also going to be looking for a job in that one, so he may well be moving on. It's sort of going to be a job search / transfer special. We'll see what happens. It's certainly going to be an interesting one to start with, but my first ever live stream, so if you can, please do come along and support it. Just drop in, say hi in the chat. I do appreciate it really greatly. Fingers crossed there won't be too many technical mess ups or glitches as we go along, but thank you in advance for coming along and supporting. I do appreciate it. There will be a full replay available after as a video if you can't catch it live at 12 tomorrow, and also at 4:30 tomorrow, a start of our new series from Real Football. Myself and a friend, we're trying to do the 92. Of course that's been heavily disrupted at the minute, so we've been filling our void on Saturday by talking about the things we normally would if we were going on the train to somewhere wonderful in the country. We'll just be talking about the grounds we visited, what we found appealing about them, what we didn't, any little unique quirks, and then we'll be ranking them on certain categories, so make sure you come along and join in for that one. If you visited the ground as well, then let us know down in the comments anything we might have missed, what you thought about it as well. I just want it to be as interactive as possible, and that's the same for the live stream. It's just to get a bit more interaction with you guys. At the moment it's great down in the comments, of course. I can interact with you and on Twitter too, but it's not quite the same as doing it live, so hopefully the stream will be able to solve that. And then of course on Monday we'll be back with our first game of the season from Dorking Wanderers, our first ever game at Championship level. It's taken 10 years, it's going to be a big one. And then Tuesday, the first game of the season in the other series. Will it be at Salford? Will it be elsewhere? Will I be distraught after the transfer window? There's so many unanswered questions, but a big weekend coming up on the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you could support, and a massive thank you to those of you that are. If you can put a thumbs up on this video if you're looking forward to it, it would be greatly appreciated too. And make sure you subscribe and get that notification bell on so you get all the alerts as these episodes come out. So apologies for the start of episode plug, but I do need to get in all the new things that we're doing on the channel. Hopefully some of them will entertain you, particularly during this lockdown with no football. The weekend's particularly hard for me, and I'm sure a few of you too. But let's go and have a look at this transfer window. The most important thing is we're preparing Dorking for the Championship today, and it's not gone well. We'll go through the signings, but it hasn't gone brilliantly. There's still a couple of little bits going in and out that might be done. I'm desperately trying to get some players on permanent deals. But either way, we look at the history, and it's not been the greatest one, to be honest. Only a few players going in and out. We'll go and look at the released players first, just because there's a couple to go through. Harry Campbell, the third choice keeper. Thomas Cotton, the backup right back last year. Oliver Deadfield, who was an under-23s keeper. And a few others who were out on loan. But unfortunately, not much more than that. If we go to all transfers, we'll go through those in a moment. 7 players coming in, not a penny spent. 1 more coming in on loan. And I guess in addition to that, don't forget 3 of the loanees from last season stayed. So John Webb, the top scorer, Jack Walker, the centre half, and then Brendan Lindsay, the other striker and attacking player. So we've got a little bit more than that. but I don't think we're championship ready. I can't lie to you. I think we're a good League One club and we could probably compete for promotion again there, but I don't think we've got enough to survive here. So hopefully in the next week or two we'll be able to get a few more in, but of course that's not certain by any means. So let's talk about the players that have gone out first. We couldn't even sell most of the backups we wanted to. You can see the likes of Jackson and Roux, they've gone out on loan, but James Thompson, the first one going out, £60,000 to Portsmouth. I mean, considering we got him on a free last year and it was just as a utility man in the squad, he made one league appearance and a few in the cup, 60 grand's not bad at all. And in fact, look, he joined them in June and he's transfer listed already. He's only been there 6 weeks. So obviously Portsmouth have thought the same as us. That's really, really bizarre. But either way, he's gone to Portsmouth and they don't want him anymore. But we got the 60 grand, so that's all that matters. Then a few of the youngsters out on loan. David Aitchison for the second year in a row. He's gone to Stevenage this time. So 200 quid a week. He's a young striker. Not ambitious. He's injured now. He's not a great finisher. He's not going to make it, let's be honest. So David Aitchison out on loan. Brad Alexander to Fylde. Are they in the League 2 or did they go back down? Now, they went back down to the National League. Tom Cook's still there as the key player. Former pro for us, of course. Brad Alexander's the opposite. He's a good finisher and good physically. He has picked up a few knocks along the way. Scored quite a few for Bromley last year, but mentally he's just not quite got it. So he's not going to make it either, I don't think. But out on loan, he'll get a season at Fylde. Tommy Parks we'll talk about in a moment because he's joined us and then gone back out to Stevenage. So we'll talk about him and how he came in a moment. Connor Jackson, of course, you know him well. Super sub for the first half of last year, but tailed off in the end. We tried to transfer him, but he wouldn't go. So he's now on loan at Chesterfield. I can only imagine he's a backup there, because Chesterfield have the man we tried to sign last summer. We ended up having to settle for Jackson, and that was Jamie Wood. Although, to be fair, he's got interest in him, so maybe he'll be on his bike. Where's he going off to? Bradford, Motherwell, and still us linked with him. I don't think we'll be signing him now, but a really good right winger. Started the first game, so Connor Jackson will be a backup there. But either way, it's good to get him off the wage bill. Gives us a little bit more flexibility, and we're still eternally grateful for his support last year. And then finally is Harvey Roux, a backup player for a couple of years, 17 league appearances in total. Not good enough anymore. He's gone on to Wrexham. No one wanted to buy him, so loaning him out was the next best thing. Off the wage bill, we've got 4 centre-halves, so we don't need to worry about him anymore. So certainly not an exciting window in terms of outs, no blockbusters. We've managed to keep hold of all our big players. There are a few of them refusing to sign contracts, so they might have to go in January. But we have got a few coming in. Some of them are quite exciting signings. It's just the lack of action that's made me a bit pessimistic. Of course, Tordov's a standout. He's someone we didn't think we'd be able to keep. So I'm delighted we've both got him and on a permanent. But let's go through the 7 in order. We've got Adrian Bentley coming in first. You saw at the end of last season, this one and Parks were already pre-agreed. 2 of the youngsters from the usual youth reports that we go and scout. So 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential, 18-year-old central midfielder. He's got a balanced personality and brilliant physical stats. So if we can get that personality up with a bit of mentoring, I feel like he could improve into a wonderful player. He's got all the physical attributes. He shouldn't be getting injured too often. But mentally, just average. I guess that's not bad for an 18-year-old. Technically not great aside from the passing. More of a defensive-minded midfielder. Probably a box-to-box long-term. I'm looking at a replacement for Stefan Moles, potentially, who's 29 now. We tried to get a replacement anyway, but we couldn't do at the time. But no professional appearances, so he'll initially get a run in the cup, maybe off the bench a couple of times, and hopefully he'll be able to develop as the season goes on. But either way, we should make a profit on him. A really good signing in my book. And then second is Tommy Parks, the man who's gone out on loan to Stevenage since. He came in from Manchester City, having been released. Doesn't quite fit into our tactic at the moment, but he's got one key thing going for him, and you've probably noticed it already. He's got a professional personality, so that's the main thing for us looking forward. He already started the first game for Stevenage. He should be improving off the pitch because he's got that personality, that determination. Physically he's very good, so he should stay fit, and technically, to be fair, he's got all of the key areas. It's just those little bits of movement off the ball. Probably going to be more of a David Beckham type winger, maybe the sort that likes to cross it rather than beat a man and dribble past a few. The technique's good, the first touch is good. He has got pace though, so that's something we can rely on. I'm really quite excited about him long term. I'm hoping he'll improve as much as I think he will at Stevenage, and then we could have a proper player on our hands next year. But we'll leave that for now, see how he gets on there. 5 more, all of these involved in our first team squad this season, though George Burns, the first of them, may not be eventually. So he's coming as our backup number 10, basically a replacement for Holcroft, with McLaughlin leapfrogging to the starting position. A very good passer of the ball at 21, good young player, played for Aberdeen. He's a proper number 10 playmaker really, just good on the ball, good flair, he likes it, he's got the vision, he's got the agility, not really got much else to be honest, doesn't tackle, doesn't defend, not the best finisher, so doesn't really advance into the box, but I think he's going to be a decent player. A backup, it was a free transfer, there's no harm in that, he'll certainly be worth something in a year's time, so I've got no problem with him coming in. Obviously he has got a little bit of experience at that top level of Scotland, a few appearances for Aberdeen in the Premiership and did get one goal as well, so someone who I think we can rely on in the future. Just a backup for now, again will be cup appearances mainly, but of course that's on the assumption that McLaughlin will hit the ground running this season. And then Alan Tordoff's come in, it's the big summer signing, the marquee man. We never thought we'd keep him. 15 grand a week he was on at Sheffield United, he was out of contract so we couldn't get him back on loan again, but Alan Tordoff has chosen to join us for free. And more importantly, he's done so for under half the wage. He is our top paid player by some distance, but 7 grand a week I think's a really good deal here. On a free transfer, the reason I say that, he signed a 3-year deal and we will definitely get a big offer for him at some point. If he hits the ground running like he did last year, his personality's great, so he should keep improving a little bit too. He's got that tiny bit more potential. He scored nearly 1 in 2 last year, got an assist in every 3. Of course a step up in level, but if he can get us 10 goals and 5 assists, that may be enough for us. He can also play central midfield. He's got brilliant stats, really brilliant. He was a star last year. He's got a knock, so he will miss this first game with a hamstring injury. But either way, I'm so delighted with it. The fact that he's joined, the fact that he's come permanently, he's taken a wage cut, and I've already accepted that later down the line we'll have to sell him for 4, 5, 6 million quid. But let's just enjoy him while he's here. Hopefully he'll do enough to keep us up this season. Combined with the likes of John Webb, can they do what they did in League One? Of course, he's played 32 times for Sheffield United, 31 for Hull. He's got loads of experience, so he has played Championship football before. He's played Premier League football before. For Sheffield United, he scored 4 in 2 in the Premier League. Why on earth are they letting him go? I mean, it baffles me. They paid £5 million for him. So if we can get him playing well, he should be worth 5 million again. And that could pay for a new stadium for us. We've got to think about these things. As much as I don't like to talk about new signings, about how they could be leaving again, he could be the sort of player that pays for our stadium. The one that takes us to the Premier League, to Europe, all of that. So we've got to be delighted, we really have. So I'm pleased with that signing. I'm sure many of you will be as well, because he's the one bit of light we've got in staying up this year. And he's been joined by Lewis James, a loanee from Southampton. He's basically taken the vacant loan spot that was freed up by Tordoff. He's a right back. He's coming in to basically be the long-term Mason Saxon replacement. The man who went off to Swansea for 4 million on deadline day in January. Barry Cotter wasn't quite good enough, so Lewis James comes in. 19 years of age, 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential. Personality, a little bit shaky, but in terms of mental and physical stats, he's really good. Technically, he's decent, he can tackle and he can cross. Doesn't need to have much else in his game. So I'm really excited about him. I know he's going to have the odd clanger, the odd mistake in his game, the decision-making, the composure's average, but he's training well, he's a good young player, he's got versatility, he's capped at under 20 level for England. We've got a few England youth internationals, which is absolutely remarkable at Dorking. But I'm really pleased with him. We're only contributing 2.5 grand a week, and I've tried really carefully to keep the wage bill down here. So I think that one's going to be a super sign-in. Lewis James will go straight in as our first choice right back. 2 more to go then, free agent deals which have freed up spaces in the squad where we couldn't afford to get loanies in. So the first one's a bit of a disappointment. We were looking for a first choice left winger. Matt Everett likely on his way. He was the one that we did want to capitalise in the interest in because he wasn't quite good enough for this level. Didn't get a great average rating last year, but was the top assist maker in the league, of course. Carl Carroll is his replacement though. Probably won't start the season ahead of him, but at 21, a left winger with 4-star potential, just 2.5 ability for now. Probably like for like, they're very similar in terms of their ratings. Both quick, both decent crossing the ball, both okay technically in terms of passing, work hard, haven't got great stats aside from that though. Anticipation, the big one missing for both. First touch is a problem for Carl Carroll. But either way, a winger on support, perfect in that role, only 700 quid a week, and again someone who might be worth money later down the line. A few clubs want him on loan, but he's not going anywhere, so hopefully we can get him some football, we can get him training well, we can improve that personality in the youth mentoring groups, and I think he could be a star. The only negative really is that he'd only sign a 1-year deal, so we've got to keep an eye on his contract situation. We don't want him to play too much early on. If he hits the ground running, he'll then get big offers, probably not sign a new contract, want loads of money. So if we can get him just playing odd games and improve into November, get a new new contract in, then try and get him to overtake Everett. Maybe sell Everett on in January because he's wanting a ridiculous contract now. He's asking for about 8 or 9 grand a week. So we're going to keep an eye on this situation. The left winger one is one that's going to evolve. Probably the only one I don't know my best player yet. So we'll keep an eye on Carl Carroll. But for a free agent deal, it's a no-brainer. So fingers crossed he will be a superstar. And then last, we've gone for some experience. A new club vice-captain, probably will be the captain on the pitch if he starts. Sam Neville, a 31-year-old centre-half. Been playing in Scotland again, Aberdeen and Hearts most recently. And I mean, he's a leader. Leadership 17, determination 16. I do worry that he dives into tackles as a centre-half, so we'll try and work on that. But at 31, I can't ask for much more. 3-star ability, 3-star potential, only on about 3 grand a week as well. A perfect player for the mentoring groups, a really good player across the board. Tackling, heading 13, jumping 14, strength 13, positioning 12, all of the composure and decision making solid. And he's just neck and neck with the other two. So basically it's Jack Walker and then either him or Parsons. Parsons struggling composure-wise, better tackling, younger, got improvement in his game, but do we focus on working him off the pitch? They're all the things we've got to consider this summer. But Parsons and Lavelle will be working together. I'm really impressed with his signing. I hope he can do well. I will show you the other one we were trying to sign actually in experience terms, and it was another one to bolster the central midfield. He rejected us ironically for my beloved Luton Town, who have been relegated to League One. But he can earn more money there, although he's accepted a lower contract. And it's Josh Cullen, so you may recognise him from the other series because he was involved in our Ireland squad. But a really good experienced player, we were hoping to get him in. Again, the personality for the mentoring group would have helped. But it wasn't to be, so Stefan Moles will start for now. We've still got no new box-to-box midfielder, and Josh Cullen's the one that got away this summer. But a disappointing transfer window for me. I'm a little bit underwhelmed. I think Tordov's brilliant to get him in on a permanent. That's the one major bit of good news. He will pay for our stadium regardless of whether he keeps us up or not. Lewis James is a good signing on loan. Sam Lavelle, really solid capture. But I'm a little bit concerned. Left wing, I've got either that Carroll or Everett. Neither of them are championship players, let's be honest. Stefan Mole, central midfield. Not a championship player. Matthew Smith perhaps is. He's improving continuously. But he's out of contract next season and he wants 8 grand a week. Left back, Luke Thomas. We didn't capitalise in interest. He's now not a championship player. No one really wants him either. Robinson in goal, borderline. We'll find out as we go along. But let me know in the comments what you think of the signings, what you think of the work. Are there any pressing positions we need to work on? We've got 2 decent players in every position. Some of them not quite as good as others. We've still got odd players on trial that we're looking at. So young Sam Swales, I think that is here. He's a 2.5-star ability right winger, can cover at right back, so he's someone we're looking at as well. We will keep getting players in as we go along, but I'm trying to look after the finances. We've not got our own ground. We're improving the facilities, which will make a bigger long-term difference at the club, and there's every chance we'll go back down to League One. So I don't want to go spending $1 million, $2 million on players. We've got free agents that are going to be able to come in. Tordov could be worth millions, so there are players out there. We just need to find them. That's the problem. We've improved the scouting team. We've improved the coaching team. That's the last thing we're going to talk about before we go. But overall, I've got a decent squad. It'll fight. It'll do its best. But I'm not convinced it'll stay up. So let me know down in the comments what you think of the work. Whether you think we can stay up this season. For me, I think we're probably just narrowly going to miss out. But of course, there's still a week and a half in the transfer window. So let's wait and see what happens with that one. But on to the staffing. That's the last bit of the summer window. We've of course got the training facilities upgrades, which we'll talk about once they're completed. But a big change and overhaul to the staffing. Everyone who was here last year has stayed, bar the head of sports science, I think. Everyone else in terms of the coaching team has all stayed on board. But we've got a significant number of additions. So I'm just trying to remember which ones they were because there's so many of them now. So both of the fitness coaches were here. The goalkeeping coaches, Andy Marshall came in this season. So here's a big goalkeeping coach improvement alongside Jaskalainen. Really top quality he is. In terms of the coaches, so let's go through the ones that definitely came in. Phil Neville, former England Women's International Manager as well. Been at Rangers, been at Southport, been at Blackburn in various different roles along the way. He is world class here. Look at his stats, 17 for defending and mental. Determination, discipline and motivating, all top of the class. Probably a candidate for assistant manager moving on. Just the tactical knowledge letting him down. But he is the sort of man we want here. Really good coach, good for young players, and I hope he'll make a difference. Dan Mikiki is a quite well-known coach in this game. A lot of lower league managers go and sign him. Been at Stevenage and Fleetwood. Had 8 years at Fleetwood actually. We've poached him and he's now here with with us. Again, works with youngsters well, motivates well, really good coaching stats. So many good improvements off the pitch. And I'm sort of hoping this will be able to legislate and mitigate for the fact that we haven't been able to get the signings in. Can these guys improve our boys enough? It's the $1 million question really, and it's the one that saved us millions of pounds, so hopefully it will work out. I think John Goodman came in as well. He did. Determination good. I mean, look at him across the board. Resolute, former Ireland international, works with youngsters well, excellent fitness coach, excellent at everything else as well. Another one who's an assistant manager candidate. And then moving along, who was the last one? David Horseman, I think. David Horseman came in. It was one that was done as the under-23s coach. Really good off the pitch as well. So I'm trying to improve the players that are in that group below. So it would have been Parks if he hadn't been loaned out. But our under-23s have stagnated in the past. So I want to look after them. We've got an under-23 assistant manager in Tom Harben. He's brilliant working with youngsters. Brilliant motivating. You can see the pattern as we go along. Personalities and stats. Everyone absolutely fantastic. So let's hope that works as the season goes on. And then John Phillips coming in as a sports scientist, very good rated, good at his job. And then finally, Aaron Lundstrom coming in as a backup senior data analyst. The chief man is Convery still, but Aaron Lundstrom, 13s across the board, really solid at his job. So I'm really pleased with the moves off the pitch. That's the one area where I think we've done brilliantly. We've got under-23s coming in as well. I missed the other coach, Gareth Richards. Another one, 20 for motivating and youngsters. They're the two that we've got to work on. Let's improve these players. We can't compete in a transfer window. We need to look after the finances because we've got to get that stadium. If we ever want to finish this series in a Premier League in Europe, we have to protect that for now. So the first facilities improvements are happening, but all the off the pitch work is fantastic. We've just got to hope those bits of magic come on the pitch. We've only got to fight bravely against relegation. There's no expectation for us to stay up. The facilities improvements are coming in December, so let's just hope. That's the one thing we can do this year is hope. Tordoff, Webb, McLaughlin, the likes, give us some of your magic. Let's see if that happens. We'll be back on Monday for that. It's the first game of the season against Fulham. It's on TV, it's live. It's only been moved to Sunday though because of the fact we're sharing with Crawley. You can see we've got loads of Sunday games as we go along. But I hope rather than expect we can stay up. I'm sure you'll think the same, but let me know down in the comments what you think. If you did enjoy the transfer special, seeing us have a bit of a hard time in the window, please do put a thumbs up on it. Of course, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, tomorrow at midday we'll have our first ever live stream on the channel. It'll be the summer window from our other series. Will we be on the move? Will we have an exciting summer? There's going to be lots of unanswered questions before that one. So please do come along and join me for that. Apologies in advance for the technical glitches, but it's something I really want to get used to doing in the future. Live streams of odd transfer windows, just so I can keep interactive with you guys. So please do come and pop along if you can. But as I mentioned, if you can't, the full stream replay will be available afterwards, so do make sure you come and catch up with it either way. And then later on tomorrow, at our normal release time of 4:30, we'll have the start of our stadium review series. We start in alphabetical order, so Accrington Stanley first for us of the clubs we've both been to. So if you have visited yourself and you are a football fan missing out on going to football grounds, please do come and join along for that one. Talk to us down in the comments, your thoughts when you visited. If you're an Accrington fan, tell us things we might have missed because it was a wet and windy day when we went. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews, and tomorrow we've got an FM series starting there as well. It's a network career over one season. Myself and the other two co-hosts, we're managing two League One clubs who are rated similarly. Who's going to come out on top? It's a chance for me to test my wits over a season. Am I actually good at this game, or am I going to get embarrassed? So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you can join along. I've also done some interviews with former and current professional footballers at the moment, so I really hope you'll enjoy those as well. I'm just trying to get as much content out for people who enjoy football, who are really struggling with the weekends due to the lockdown. I know that self-isolation can be a lonely place, so please do look after yourselves. Check out the content, pass the time whichever way you can. I think Tony Thorpe's coming next week, the former Luton and Bristol City man, and then after that we've got Nicky Shorey, a former England international, so a few players who will give great insight into different areas of the game, and I really enjoyed having a chat with them, so I hope you'll enjoy listening to what they had to say. But a big thanks for watching this one and coming along for the start of another season with Dorking Wanderers. I hope we can get off to a flyer against Fulham on Monday, but I'm not getting my hopes up, let's be honest. But a big thanks for watching this one and your continued support, and hopefully I'll see you next time.